Phillipsburg Town Council meeting, April 24th, 2024.
Meeting in order. Meeting of April 24th, 2024. It's 6:01. Sorry for the minute late. It's old and slow. Joe, I know you laugh. Good going. Vice President Councilwoman Paulus, would you please read the Open Public Meeting Act statement?
This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of April 24th, 2024 was included in a list of meeting notices sent to newspapers of record and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk.
Thank you. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? It's behind us. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Skirbo, would you please do the invocation?
We seek blessings on tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Clark, a moment of silence, please.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for the passing of Reverend Bill Slack. As many folks know, he was a pillar in this community, and he will be greatly missed. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
Here.
Councilman Kennedy?
Here.
Councilman Skirbo?
Here.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Here.
Council President Marino?
Here. Bills list, please.
The regular bills list as of April 24th, 2024 is $661,109.19. The prepaid bill list is $2,375,327.97 for a total of all funds of $3,036,437.16.
Need a motion, please?
Councilman, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Bill in here for Forward Planning Incorporated, $921. PA to address that.
Mr. Hall, would you address that, please?
Forward Planning does our escrow analysis, pilot analysis. So they've done 75 South Main. They're in the process of doing 540 Marshall. So that's, I believe that the work billed here is for 75 South Main.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the bills list?
Councilman Matt, that should all be paid out of escrow too, posted by the developer.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any other questions on the bills list? Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Minutes of April 3rd, 2024, work session minutes. Need a motion?
Moved.
Second? I'll second it. Roll call?
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Abstain, I was absent.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Minutes of April 10, 2024, regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. This time, I'd like to have the report from the Chief of Police, Stetner. Chief?
Good evening. I'll be very brief. March and April, for the most part, is our mandatory training month, which would be all our state mandated trainings we have to do. Guys have been busy doing that. And as we move into May, the end of May, early June, we'll be participating in the Click It or Ticket campaign. So you'll see more cars out on the roads during times looking for seatbelt violations. You'll also see some press releases go out around that time too, notifying everybody, warning everyone. That's my report for this evening, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions of the Chief? Seeing none, at this time, I'd like to call a meeting for executive session. Counselor, how long do you think we'll be there?
I hope no more than 10 minutes, but I don't know.
Sounds good. I can't predict it either. Okay, we need a motion. We need a motion to go in executive.
For matters regarding personnel, expected time being in executive is about 10 minutes. No action is being taken.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Wallace?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. We need a motion to reconvene.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Wallace?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes.
All right. We were in executive session for 17 minutes, during which time one subject was discussed involving personnel within the police department. No action was taken. Floor is yours, Councilor.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, we got a proclamation for 2024 Police Unity Tour. I don't think the officer's here. Whereas the law enforcement torch run began in 1984 when Port Authority police officer Stephen Vitale saw a need to involve law enforcement with their communities in the Special Olympics. And whereas since the inception of the law enforcement torch run, it has become a global event in which all 50 states and more than 46 countries participate and has raised over $600 million for Special Olympics. And whereas the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics raises over $2 million annually by more than 3,000 officers through local and statewide events. And whereas the town of Phillipsburg wishes to commend the efforts of its officers in support of this worthy endeavor. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and Council of the town of Phillipsburg hereby honors and commemorates Friday, June the 7th, the annual law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics in New Jersey, featuring more than 3,000 officers taken to the streets of their local communities, split up into 26 separate legs, with some starting as early as 4:45 a.m. A run to raise awareness for Special Olympics New Jersey. Thank you, police officers. Okay, moving on. Public discussions on agenda items only. It's a 3-minute limit, and I'm going to stick right to the 3 minutes.
Ann Davis. The budget, this is the absolute best we can do. I mean, Easton School District is cutting $3 million from their budget, and anybody that knows anything about a school district budget knows that's huge. So in addition to an 11% tax increase, we all just got our sewer bills, and there was a surprise service charge on there up to $30. Not to mention everybody's bill was higher than what it was. And this is the absolute best we can do. There's absolutely nothing we can cut.
Give me any suggestions, I'll pass them on to council.
Well, I mean, every penny adds up. I mean, we're talking $1,000 for curtains here, but we're not telling people about the overtime we pay DPW workers to stay and put them up. You're blocking fire exits. If the state fire marshal walked in here, you're getting fined. I mean, we're paying $30,000 for a playground program that we could be doing. Sewer rates gone. I mean, people are not happy. You're forcing people out of this town. You're bleeding us dry. Senior citizens cannot afford it. They're living off Social Security. They can't keep up with it. We're going to put rent control in, and now we're going to tell landlords how much they can up on their rent. You're going to increase by 11%, but tell them they can only go up a certain percent. You're going to lose property owners in this town. And this is nothing against Mr. Merlo. I know he knows where every single penny in this town is. There has to be something that we can do, because we can't afford it. You know, everybody's like, oh, it's only $1,000 for curtains, but every $1,000 adds up. And we just keep bleeding this money out like there's no end to it. And we have to stop blaming previous administrations. because these decisions are being made now.
Just real quick. I'm sorry, I was just double checking.
Yeah, I know, you were paying attention to something.
No, I was
So
listening.
whatever, it's fine.
So
It's fine.
the municipal tax increase doesn't include the sewer rate. Just the council person policy, just to bring up what she brought up. March 27th, she brought up actually a sewer rate freeze. Yeah, so the average, with the 11% increase, the average municipal tax rate here, municipal tax bill is $4,600 in Phillipsburg. If we round that up to $5,000, just for the sake of argument, let's round it up. So your municipal rate is less than half, but we'll say 50%, we'll round it up again. You're looking at probably, so 11% of $2,500 is $275 a year, or $22 a month, rounded up. Now I understand the sewer rate, the sewer bill is much higher than that, much higher than $22 a month. A lot of people were hit with that. I do think all of our professionals, including myself, CFO, business administrator, took into account what the deficiencies were and where we needed to add. I think for the average cost, everything rounded up again, $22 a month. I know that does hurt some people in our town. Hopefully we can provide some relief with some sewer discussions going forward. You know, next year I'm hoping that we don't have to increase it, or we can talk about offsetting some of those costs with additional grants. We've been extremely motivated and aggressive pursuing those to try to offset costs. That's my response to that. I hope it makes sense to everybody. Thank you.
Council President.
Go ahead.
So, just to refresh my memory, I believe that our fire chief approved it to be safe for us to have the meetings here in the parking lot, and that is not a hazard of any means. Am I correct?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The fire chief, he said it was safe for us to have the meetings here.
I did speak with Chief A, and there's no issue.
Okay.
And it's still open to the public. Your name, please. 3 minutes.
Go ahead.
I'm Chris Pfefferly. I'm actually from Alexandria Township. My wife and I own a few properties here and have renovated some properties. First, I want to say thank you to everybody up here. I've been on Alpha Town Council. I'm on my town council in Alexandria. I know it's a job that takes a lot of effort and not a lot of thanks, so thank you for doing this. My comments on the rent control here, I could read articles about why it doesn't work in towns. You look at Forbes, you look at Bloomberg, you can look at all those different towns, and you'll see they don't work. You have Camden, Plainfield, Elizabeth, Newark, Atlantic City, rent control towns. Is that what we want this town to look like? You could say there's Jersey City on the other side, Edison, but they have proximity to New York. Putting rent control in this was in a couple of years ago. It was voted down. It's not something that's going to help this town, and this town is really taking off. As I go down 22, old buildings going down, new going up. South Main Street, actually people going up and down, new businesses opening, people buying buildings and renovating them. Putting a rent control will put a complete stop to that. So I don't understand why you would consider it. And the impact study, when I read that resolution, what they're proposing is really, they're not doing an impact study. They're saying we're going to give you 3 different ordinances to pick from to do rent control. And I don't think that any of those are going to be a good option for anybody here. So whether you're a D or an R in local towns, I don't think it matters. What you want to do is keep the growth happening here, keep these people bringing money in and reinvesting in these properties and redoing them. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joan Pierce, on rent control. I have my phone up, not to be ignorant or anything, but a 1-bedroom's going for $1,900, a 2-bedroom $1,650 with nothing included. A 3-bedroom, $2,000 with nothing included. Everybody has to pay their own utilities. I have a 3-bedroom that's $1,650. I have a great landlord, not complaining, but all these rents went up before the tax hike and the sewer rate. If we don't put a rent control in to say to the landlords, you have a max, they're just gonna keep raising the rent and raising it. There's a house right now on Sigray Street that's going for $2,500 a month, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Who can afford it? Because I know I can't. Right now I'm in Alemba. I have no health insurance, I'll be proud to say. It's either pay out of pocket or pay my rent. I understand landlords want to make money, but before the taxes went up and rent went up, everybody was at a minimum here. But now everybody's getting greedy in their pockets. The rent keeps going up. I mean, who can afford 1 bedroom for $1,700 or $1,800? Or a 3-bedroom, $2,500? Who can afford that? I'm a lifer here in Phillipsburg, and what's going on right now? Yous are pushing us out so everybody from the cities can come in and take over our town. Us lifers want our town.
Joan, address the council,
Sorry.
please.
You know, we want to keep everybody here. And everybody in business here are still coming. It doesn't matter what the tax rate is. Businesses are coming, businesses are staying. Investors are coming, investors are leaving. Businesses are still coming no matter what the taxes are here. So please, do something for us tenants. You know, who's to say? I mean, the landlords are coming in and saying, well, we can raise it whatever we want. Who can afford it? Nobody can. I mean, it's not fair to us tenants that we have to worry every month how much our rent's going to be for the year. You know, so please, do something for us. You know, it's not right. Every day I see it on different sites, how much the rents are. Who can afford it? We sure can't. You know, we're drowning. Us tenants here are drowning. So let's come to some kind of compromise for us all. I understand, you know, the landlords, you have some good landlords, you have some bad landlords. You know, let's all work together. Thank you.
How you guys doing? Matt, Amabile. Nice to meet everyone that I've talked to over the phone. Landlord in town. I grew up here in Phillipsburg. I've got 25 apartments right now, 26 years old, and I see myself, I say that age because I see myself being here a long time and investing here and helping this area grow. Because you're right, I see Phillipsburg growing and growing and people coming in and this area getting better and better. And I grew up here until I was 9 years old, and my parents moved us out because they didn't want me to go to school here. And so after college, I came back here. I bought a 4-unit here, I renovated it, made it look nice, and I came back here with a dream to make this place great, and I still have that dream. And I still have this within myself to keep investing and keep putting money in. And I could show you guys my properties and how nice they are and what I give the tenants to live in. And now I do agree with what was said that those rents are ridiculous. My 1-bedrooms are going for $1,350. My 2-bedrooms are going for $1,550, and my 3-bedrooms are going for $1,750 to $1,800. And now I think that's a sustainable rate, and I think that's where things can run off. I do believe that once we start getting up into the 22, 23, 24, 2500s, that is greed, that is people coming in and not doing the right things. And so I do think that there does need to be a protection for the people here in Phillipsburg, but I also think that there needs to be a protection for the people on the other side who are really putting the work in and have that vision of growth for Phillipsburg. And yeah, I'm open to discussions with anybody on the phone if you want to talk further on that. But thank you for giving us this space to come out and say our feelings. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to how this progresses forward from here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Carol D. again. I just have a comment on the proposal from the consultant. I don't know what they were asked to provide, but I did consulting for many years, and normally what you would do is you present a problem statement, and they would come back with recommendations. This looks to me like they've already been told, we're going to do rent control, just give me the pros and cons. And I think you're going to be wasting your money, because in the long run, what's going to happen is like you're not going to get any fresh ideas. If you had instead asked, okay, here are our issues. We have like not enough inventory. We have like the rents are too high. They might have come back with some really good solutions. Like people on the last meeting said, there are other options, there are other tools available that we can use. This isn't the only option, but by the way this is written, you're not going to get what we really need. And we're spending, to the point about the budget, $11,000 that we don't have. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do need a middle ground. I wrote one. You have it. You've read it. Right now you're 3-2. After the next election, it might be 2-3. Right now, a developer in that group isn't going to be for it. And if it shifts to the other 3-2, then you won't get them all to be for it either. I put together something that will not hurt the developer and will preserve the rents that poor people need. Therefore, leaving that aside, anybody else want to read it? Fine. They've all read it, or they got it. This ordinance about who to pick to give a report. First, I'm more qualified as far as paperwork kind of crap is concerned. Apology for that word. I will. To be an expert as well. And I can represent poor people as well as rich people. This thing, the primary question the study needs to be answered are a list of pro-developer statements. This survey, I could go to the library and make it a whole lot cheaper than $10,000 by just copying the recent stuff that's been done, promoted by developers. We have a community that can carry both the development of people, like he said, as well, but we can use, that's another plan that I proposed about 10 years ago. Okay, leave that one go. If you're going to use an expert, don't use this one, and don't use this format for your questions. These questions beg the question, let us look at what the developers judge our system to be. We need to look at the poor people who are paying the rent, and we need to look at the organizations and how they're presenting, and come up with a new plan. I propose mine takes out all the stuff that I've been against in previous proposals. I'm an avid fan of good rent control, and I have been against the last two proposals that made it to the council because they were all screwed up with very pro-developer loopholes, and they also had fixed value incomes, like 3%, or it would be better than a fixed rate, say $100 a month, something like that. Instead of that, I only ask for you to give the next tenant what you intend to do next year. No bureaucracy to appeal to. Your appeal goes directly to the secretary of the inspection department, who records your promises. If you break your promise.
Excuse me, Joe, your time is up. Thank you. Anyone else?
It won't even take 3 minutes. Hi, Teresa Trigus-Beverly. I am a real estate, Chris is my husband. I've been a real estate broker for 23 years, and I just wanted to anecdotally say a couple things from what I'm hearing. When we renovate, when we have a tenant that leaves, oftentimes we buy properties that we would consider have upside, meaning that they haven't been updated in a long time. Tenants have been there 11 years, 16 years, 17 years. The last apartment that we renovated, the tenant was there prior to us owning it. By the time we were done with it, bathroom, kitchen, all things, it was $35,000 to update the apartment. So I hear what you're saying, but when you're investing that kind of money so that my tenants have better kitchens than I do at my own home, I think that as a landlord, you have a right to increase your rent according to the investment that you're putting in the property. And then the last thing I'm gonna say is that, just again, anecdotally, I spent some time in Manhattan, met a young lady who said, oh yeah, I'd really love to move to Miami, but we're in a rent-controlled building, and we're in a lease that actually doesn't belong to us. It belongs to my husband's great aunt, and now we've taken it over. So if we leave this 4-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, we can no longer, we're only paying $900 a month because it's rent controlled. Well, because the lease really isn't for them, it's for someone else. So what they do is they lease share amongst people to get the maximum benefit, and then that's why the landlords, when they do have an apartment that becomes available, raise the rent to $3,500 because they're trying to make up the difference for them subsidizing this rent-controlled apartment for multi-generations of family, right? So I just wanted to leave you with that. I appreciate all of your efforts. I know it's not easy to sit where you're sitting and govern and look at both sides and try to come up with something that makes sense. So I wish you all the best, and I look forward to how you decide to handle it.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
As I had stated before, I live with rent control, and I'm glad I do, because our landlord is nothing but a slumlord. And the group that owns it is Harbor Management. And they also own Norton's Apartments. They're nothing but a bunch of slumlords. We just went 11 days without hot water. 96 apartments, no hot water. And we understand it's because they didn't pay their bill to the plumber. And so who suffered? We did. You've got to run slumlords out of town.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on. The 2024 Budget Public Hearing, Resolution 2024-77, resolution authorizing adoption of the 2024 budget for the town of Phillipsburg. We need a motion, a second, the public input.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we're opening it up to the public. Just give us your first name. You have 3 minutes. Somebody has to talk. Okay. Seeing none officially, no one from the public.
Goes into the public.
Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
You're going to speak, Joe?
3 minutes.
You're speaking on the budget? Yes, I will speak on the budget. I like what you're trying to do with the budget. In the long haul, you have to stop buying bonds and selling bonds on the future and start getting up to date. I am upset by when walking in front of my own house and seeing that the garbage cans have been removed again. I walk by, I pick up garbage and I throw it in the next garbage bin. The people I say hello to on the street, most of them don't vote, most of them are poor. There's a few in South Main Street who have a little bit of money, but it's not the money. We're all decent people. We aren't robbing anybody, we aren't hurting anybody. They're picking up trash and they're throwing them in the garbage cans that's been taken away again. I want all the garbage cans back.
Point of order. Does this have to do with the budget, Mr. Marino?
Absolutely. We're talking about spending money and spending more money rather than less money. You're making the point of order, I assume, to the lawyer.
I'm letting you speak.
No, the council president is allowing you to speak.
I'm letting you speak.
Thank you.
I'll let
Thank you.
anyone speak, Chuck. 3 minutes.
Yeah. So, I'm glad you're doing this very hard task. And since I have proposed many things that, in the past, I'm hoping that it can be understood that we got to get caught up. The more seniors like me we have, who have part of our taxes frozen, yes, the better. My tax for my home has not gone up since I was 65 years old and I'm 85. So I get a $900 kickback every year on my taxes, which means, yes, I get a break. But those people, they offered me $330,000 for my property. They were going to buy it. I said, how about I fix it up first? No, we'll fix it up. There's capital gains to be made. They're perfect.
Excuse me, Joe, time's up.
That's it. Thank you.
Anyone?
Joan Pierce, on the budget. There's no way we can cut back on the budget anywhere. Nobody will take a pay cut. Nobody will forgive their pay, a percentage of it, nothing. Nobody's willing to do that for us taxpayers, for our people that are going to possibly lose their homes. I know it's a tough request. I mean, between the taxes and the sewer bills going up, like, we can't cut it any further than it's already been cut. Because us taxes payers didn't ask for this. I mean, we entrusted, hate to say previous council, not all, but most voted for this. We did not. We entrusted everybody to do what was right. And you all, not all, but some, got the task of doing this to us taxpayers and the people of the town. So, is there any way that we can do this over a little bit at a time so it's not such a burden on everybody? I mean, I understand taxes have to go up, but I mean, we're getting hit with taxes, we're getting hit with the sewer rate, we're just getting hit from all ends. Is there any possible way? I mean, I know Bob's worked hard on it. He always has, and, you know, he even said last year it wasn't a great budget, but nobody wanted to listen. Nobody. Sorry, not nobody. A few did not want to listen. And now here we are, the people are going to suffer for it. Which is not fair to us because we entrusted to make the right decisions for us. And apparently they were not the right decisions for us. And now we're all suffering for it. So I beg and plead that maybe somebody or somewhere we can cut it somehow. And it doesn't mean not pay our bills, because that is not the right thing to do. Thank you.
Okay, last call. Okay, moving on.
So we're closing the public hearing.
Okay, we're going to close the public hearing on the budget. We need a motion?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we don't, good.
Yeah, motion and second. Your public hearing, a discussion amongst the council on the resolution.
Now we vote. Roll call, please.
Well, no.
Oh,
You have to have discussion amongst the council.
discussion among council.
Thank Councilman Scribble. Did you raise your hand, Councilman Scribble?
No.
No.
I have something.
Go ahead, Councilman Kennedy.
I stated my case against this budget previously. I realized taxes were going to have to go up to some degree this year because of the bond payment. My argument is with the new hires, the raises, some of the spending, the tax increase did not have to be this extreme, in my opinion. Case in point is the resolution we're voting on tonight, putting out nearly $11,000 for a study on rent control. I mean, the spending is getting a little out of hand. I did ask regarding the new hires and the raises and the reorganization of municipal services. I asked what they were basing this on, and they said it was a organizational chart from back when, and that they're just filling positions that existed previously. Now, to the BA's credit, he did send me an organizational chart that he made up, but this is not what they were basing the new hires on. This is where it stands right now. Now, we got by without all these positions for this long, and I didn't see it necessary to do this reorganization, to give people substantial raises, and, you know, spending money, $11,000 for a study. I mean, this is what's jacking your taxes up to the extreme level. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else on Councilman Scarbour?
Yeah, so I think we talked about this in length a couple meetings now. Some decisions, I know people want to say you can't bring up what happened in the past, but I tend to disagree with that, because if you had foresight when you made those decisions last year, you would have been thinking about this year. I know comments were made, if I would have known this, we were going to hire new positions, maybe I wouldn't have voted for the budget last year. That sounds like cop-out comments to me, without any facts to prove what they should have done last year. I met with Bob one day. He went over it thoroughly. I tried to look. I was on school board for 6 years. The budget's twice the size as this, so I'm well versed in budgets. I don't see anywhere functionally that we can cut that it would actually be a disservice to our community if we start cutting these positions, and we would be in bad shape as far as the town running in an efficient way. I think that's why it hasn't all these years, and I applaud the mayor for trying to actually grasp that and to try to put it in the right direction by doing this new reorg chart. I think that was his thinking of trying to do that, not to give raises. It's the order to make it more functional and better for our community and give a better service to our community. That's why we're all elected, is to give a better service to community. I know the taxes, yeah, it's high, I agree, but it could have went gradually the past 2 years if we would have had an increase of maybe 2 last year, 2 the year before, and we wouldn't be looking at 11% this year. If it would have listened to the advice of professionals instead of the former mayor, who, in my opinion, wanted to do this to try to get reelected last year. That's my opinion. Other people might have other things to say. Like I said, I look into this, I take it seriously. No one wants the taxes to go up, you know, but I didn't see anywhere we could cut. I just think that it's kind of hard if you don't stand up for the way your voting record in the past, and then you try to make arguments for now. I think that's contradictory to me. So that's just my opinion on it. Thank you.
Anyone else on council? Councilman Clark.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this. I agree with Councilman Kennedy. I agree with the first speaker. This is not a budget. This is an assault on Phillipsburg residents. This tax hike, 11%, is unheard of. It's insane. You don't see this anywhere else. That equates to a $1.2 million increase in tax collections. Who's paying for this? We hear about rent control and the need to keep things affordable from some people who then flip-flop and say we need to justify this tax increase. Makes no sense. Now, I know we keep referring back to the last 2 years, but let's get beyond the politics for 1 second. Every person in here has been given an analysis stretching all the way back to what, 2015? Back to administration of Mayor White. And as everyone saw, The level stayed fairly flat. You saw a little bit of increase here and there. And once we come here, right up. I guess for nearly 10 years, we just weren't paying our bills. Or we had folks, and this is no criticism on our professionals, but we had politics, regardless of Democrat or Republican, that worked within a budget. We didn't spend more than we could afford. And we hear time and time again, new positions being created. We can't afford it right now. That's where the jump's coming from. Now, we may disagree up here. I rather disagree on the policy than the politics and the personalities. But numbers do not lie. We know why this is going up. And I cannot justify this. We also heard the cocktail of economics. Rent control with 3% tax on investments, an 11% tax hike on municipal taxes, sewage rates. It's a lot, but this does not have to be 11%. And I spoke with members of the administration as well. So in good conscience, I cannot support this assault on the Phillipsburg taxpayer. I cannot see a justification for it. And I believe in keeping a physically responsible budget for everyone as long as we can. Thank you.
You're welcome. Council Vice President Bowles, would you like to say something?
Yes, I would. Thank you. I don't understand where you're coming from when you say that you will not support an 11% increase in taxes. Nobody likes to see an increase, but you had absolutely no problem raising those sewer rates 75% over a 4-year period. And 75% was for the fixed rate. The consumption went up 5%. There was absolutely nothing said about that. You voted for it. And as far as the increase this year, we've said it I don't know how many times. Half of it is due to the $600,000 bond payment that wasn't made last year. We had a 23% increase in state health benefits last year. This year it's 7%. Next year it's going to be a double-digit increase again. When you have all these increases, statutory increases that cannot be avoided, and you offset them utilizing one-time revenue and using surplus, what do you think is going to happen? It doesn't take an accountant to figure it out. And it's so unfortunate it has to be done. Now, some of the things that have been implemented this year under the new administration, I applaud him because you know what? It's stuff that should have been done years ago and just wasn't. And if that was the reason, was to keep the tax rate flat, not only did the residents suffer, but the employees did too. He's doing the right thing. And again, as he stated, the tax increase is not as substantial of an increase as the sewer rates were. That's why I'm trying to take the lead on doing something about freezing those rates, if not decreasing them eventually. What have you done to try to implement an increase? What suggestions have you made? Because I haven't seen or heard any.
Council Vice President, I don't like to use the I word because I believe in the team. I didn't vote for that sewer increase last year. Why? Because we were told this is going to be a bad budget. So we'll forget last year. We're going to talk this year. In previous budget meetings, to those who come to every meeting, every council person up on this dais was asked, tell me where you want to cut. Tell me. Now, a cut is what, and I stand to be corrected, for every penny's like, what, 70,000? Maybe more?
72.
72,000. That's not bad for an old guy. So that means if you cut one position, it's only 72,000, it's 1 penny. Correct? So if you don't want no taxes, and I'm against raising anything, not at my age, I don't want to see nothing go up. But no one sitting up here told me where they wanted to make the cuts. Everyone sitting up here was elected. Tell me, I'm not going to tell you where to make the cuts, because I'm not the DA and I'm not the mayor. But if they would say in unison, if we got 4-1, 5, not to whatever kind of vote, no one's sitting up here. So when you want to talk to the public, tell the gospel truth, so help you God. Tell the truth. Okay? No one up here told me where to cut. And I shouldn't have done this, and I'll admit it. I said, you want to cut 10 cops? Not a response. You want to cut the DPW in half? No response. So when you're going to talk to the people, look them in the eyes and tell them the truth. If you can't look them in the eyes and they can't look you in the eyes, maybe you ought to run for Congress. But tell the people the truth, because times are tough. I help a lot of poor people in both states. When you hear this agency's going to help, it's a lie. They don't have money. So when I talk for the people, I talk for both sides. And whatever that report comes out, I know 10,000 is a lot of money, but I want the truth. People come up, I want to hear both sides. That's the kind of guy I am. That's the way we were brought up. And when I swear before God, I mean it. I had a federal job, so I wasn't going to lose a pension because of a dollar bill or anything. But you're sitting up here, look the people in the eyes and tell them where you want to make the cuts. This is your last time. Tell me where you want to cut. Now you heard it, 72,000 is a penny. So to those in business and that, you know the math. Okay? Tell me where you want to make the cuts. They didn't. So now, I'm done preaching. Now we have a motion. And a second. Oh, hold it. Let the mayor talk. Mayor?
Hi. I just would like to elaborate on what the rationale on some of these increases are. So discretionary spending is down $200,000 this year. That is the wild spending. Compared to last year, we did bring down discretionary. That's spending that we decide to spend. It's not insurance. It's not stuff that we are legally required to spend. So we did cut discretionary funding or spending by $200,000. With the increased positions, it's 2 police officers were my main concern. So one of our biggest budgetary items is police overtime. You know, I'd like to be able to add more police officers. Right away, I thought 4, but that was a bit too much of a tax increase. So I think by offsetting some of the overtime hours, it could help make our community safer, bring that overtime down. We're paying newer officers who come in at a lower rate to help make our community safer. I think DPW, I would also like to increase. I think having enough people to maintain what you have, we keep putting out great projects, but if you don't have a maintenance schedule or you're not able to maintain it properly, it ends up costing you in repairs later. So I think having the bodies there to be able to maintain what we have properly is extremely important and cost effective over the long term. I do think, so the budget is going up $1.2 million this year. That just happens to be close to the exact amount that we spent in one-time payments last year. If we don't have that money left. If we had one-time payments left, we could offset it to 0. That was used last year instead of an 11% increase last year. So we drained that account to offset it last year. So I just wanted to put out there the rationale in those increases, what we came into, the thought behind it. I hope it makes sense. I hope we can appreciate it. It's not something we ever want to do, is to charge people money. Like I said, on average, the average tax rate is about $22 a month increase. I think that's less than what the sewer increase was. I think you're getting more for that $22 than the sewer increase. And I'll just put it out there and let you decide for yourselves. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
No.
Councilman Kennedy?
No.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, moving on. The resolutions on the consent agenda. Anyone want to pull any resolutions?
Yes, Council President. I'd like to request polling 2024-78.
Okay. Any other councilman want to pull anything?
Yep, motion, second, that's for a motion.
Okay, we need a motion on the rest in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Councilman Clark?
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council President. So I wanted to pull this because I will not be supporting this, this study, this resolution. I share many of the concerns that were brought up in the audience. I just don't think it's a good fit. First of all, $10,900, I think that's a huge waste of money, especially as we're talking about costs going up, taxes going up. I think it can be better spent somewhere else. Second, I have serious questions about the scope of work on this study alone. The main purpose as this was sold was to get an equal pros to cons analysis of rent control on the town of Phillipsburg. Yet when you read into some of these questions, it makes you wonder. The first question alone is, if enacted, how many households within the township are likely to benefit? Another question is, or not a question, but what are the national best case examples of rent control programs? But not offering any worst case scenario and explaining why they didn't work. And then the final one is, how should a rent control board be established and who should serve on the board? We didn't even establish that rent control was good or a benefit to the town yet, and yet we're already talking about how should we go about building the board and who should serve on it. So this is a study not to test or analyze the pros and cons of rent control to see whether it would work or is right for Phillipsburg, but it seems like they've already decided that rent control is going to go in, and we need the administration needs talking points or supporting facts to push for rent control. So I really don't have any faith in this. Also, with this letter, it was sent to the mayor's office April 8th. We didn't receive this as council until Friday. So it's been laying there for a while, and we had no idea that this was even going to go forward. So also with the fact that this didn't go out to public bid, this was handpicked by the administration themselves. So there's a lot of questions around this. So one, I don't see an argument for rent control because I think it'll actually have the opposite effect. But two, this study alone just seems a little tilted in one favor than the other. So under normal circumstances, if it was more fairly balanced, if the expert being chosen was more of a public discussion and more transparent, maybe I could consider it. But in this case, I have to vote no against this. Thank you.
Here, Council President, if I may.
Go ahead, Council Kennedy.
Obviously, I'm against rent control, so therefore I really don't think it's necessary to spend another $11,000 on a study. And I also have an issue as far as the transparency aspect. You see this resolution is for Forward Planning Incorporated. On the Forward Planning website, it says, Forward Planning was hired by the town of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, to analyze the prospective impacts of instituting a rent control ordinance in Phillipsburg. We haven't voted on it yet. So again, there's a lot of talk about transparency. This looks like some deals were made ahead of time. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other council?
Can I say something?
Council?
Yeah, just for the public's benefit and also for the council's benefit, first of all, Todd Poole is the financial analyst who will be performing this study. I know him, I can vouch for him. I think those of us up here have worked with him. As Matt has said, he's done the 540 financial agreement analysis. He also did the 75 South Main financial agreement analysis, and he's very, very good. The proposal that was presented has 4 phases. It's a not to exceed $10,900. Phase 1 is where the meat of what we're looking for as a council comes into play. And yes, it includes in there an analysis of best case rent control ordinances, because you can't do an analysis of the impact of rent control in a town unless you have an idea of what that rent control program would look like and operate under, because there are different ones. So he's going to take different rent control ordinances, those scenarios, and then do an analysis as to the impact these different ordinances would have, if enacted, on the economic stability of the town. And that includes the impact on property value, whether property value is going to go up or down, reduced revenue to landlords, impacts to building maintenance and investment, in short, the short and long-term impacts of rent control, and also the impact of rent control on property value. And he's going to present those findings, and at that point, the council will say, yeah, yes or no, we think rent control is not good, because if we enact rent control under scenario A, B, or C, property values in town are gonna go down by X, or they'll increase by Y, and therefore we wanna do it or we don't wanna do it. So it's not a foregone conclusion at all. It was presented to him, his charge, I can represent to you, his charge was to do an analysis as to the impact of rent control if enacted in the town of Phillipsburg, and that's what he's doing, but that's why he has to look at rent control ordinances so that he can apply different scenarios to the town in order to do his analysis. And if the council, when Matt and I spoke about this, when the proposal came through, I told Matt, all we need is phase one, in my opinion. All we really need is phase one from this proposal. You have a not to exceed $10,900, you have 4 phases, but the council can certainly authorize, at this point, the administration to charge Todd to complete phase one and not go beyond phase one, because you really can't get to phase two unless you're happy with phase one anyway. So it's done in tranches, and that's fine. But does not have to be a $10,900 fee at the up front. So that's why it's done. Perhaps it wasn't the most clear proposal, but I want to assure the audience, the residents, non-residents, property owners, and the council that it's not, hey, wink, nod, nod. It's going to come out on top of rent control.
Rich?
Yes.
Bid threshold, was this required to go out?
No. So we have a QPA, bid threshold is over $44,000. Our quote threshold is this is over the quote threshold of $6,800, but it's $11,000. We would have to get 3 quotes, but it's professional services anyway, so we don't have to do any of that. It's the procurement process.
State law and standard in all municipal government.
The procurement process was followed. It is followed, yes.
Okay, any other questions from council? I believe
I have some.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, Council President, if we were to bring in another, say, an urban planner to offer like a different opinion or another opinion regarding rent control, is that still open to us?
After we vote on this, yes.
Okay.
The councils have time to look at everything. That's why you get elected, that's why you get paid the $200 a month, to look into things and know what you're talking about. Okay, I'll take any offense to anyone who says that I was aware of everything beforehand. I don't play that game, and I won't do that game. Okay, the town's using it. We've had different scenarios. Show me a community of under 16,000 with 51% poverty in the country. So you can't model this like you hear other areas. That's why we're using this professional to get an opinion. No one up here has stated that they're going to vote on it. How can you vote on something that hasn't been presented to council yet? Correct? It might work and it might not. We don't know. I don't know. I'm not the expert. But so if somebody wants to kind of like tilt it that this was underhanded, no, not for me. Guaranteed it won't ever come from me. But I don't want to hear there's other agencies that could help people. Because nobody's helping anyone. And it's got to be balanced for both the tenant and the owner. Okay? Now, I shouldn't share this, council, but I'm going to.
No.
Yeah. Hey, I tell it the way it is. I get a phone call. You've got to come see my rental. I know the guy for 40 years. So no. No, you're not going to put me on a spot that I want to do with your job, because you should be checking on your properties. I think it's a 10-mile limit, right? Or you have a property manager. And if anyone's done property management, and I have for 3 years, our duty was to check these places. You get a complaint, we were on them. So it's a tough thing. I understand it. I understand both sides. But we can't go forward if we don't have experts tell us what to do. And you can't come up and say, let's give the indigent help. That's not council's job. We're a legislative body. We like to help everyone. That's not our job. Okay? So therefore, anyone who called me or tried to get a hold of me, I didn't respond back. I said, come to the meeting. So that's all I have to say. We heard everything from council.
Council President, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
So I think what we heard here Mr. Weiner clarified a few things. We were under the bid threshold for this, so we did do that correctly by law. We also are hiring professional services. We're not doing anything underhanded, which was basically put out there. We're hiring a professional to give us their analysis on an important decision that we need to make. And it comes in phases, which was explained as well. So there was a lot of comments up here that were made that were not true, and they were used to try to put out untruths to the public. So I thank our council for clarifying those things that were made. I think this is the right track to do, hire a professional service for anything, because I'm not a professional in this field, and I don't see anyone up here at the dais that is as well. So I think this is being responsible. We talk a lot, there's a lot of talk about being responsible and having responsibility. I think this is all covered here with the comments that were answered. As far as what Councilman Kennedy had said about the company putting something on their website, I am not too happy about that as well. I don't think that was appropriate, but like I said, it didn't come from anyone sitting up here. It came from a company. So to make an accusation that you think that there was some kind of backroom deal being done, I mean, we could say that, you could say that about anything that someone puts out there. You could say that you were a part of it and see it, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. I don't think that's the right way to govern here. I think we need to get on track here. And I think this is a good way of doing it, is hiring professional services to come in and give us an analysis professionally. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I see it as doing our due diligence. So if anybody wants to fault us for that, so be it.
No, you just need a motion. No, you got a motion. Yeah.
Okay, we need a motion on R 2024-78.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
No.
Councilman Kennedy?
No.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, moving on to old business. Any council have anything under old business?
If I may, Council President?
Sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to follow up regarding the pedestrian crosswalk near Joe's Steak Shop. If we had, I know we agreed to it. Has anything been scheduled for that, or?
Not yet.
Okay, just wanted to follow up.
Okay, anything else? Nothing under old business. Matt?
Yeah, I just, like I brought up last meeting, I just want to remind fellow councilmen, council people on the council here, if you have any suggestions on the renaming of Needler Avenue, if you could throw them into Mr. Weiner, so we can try to get on that and get moving forward positively to change that to a better name for our town. And I also just want to follow up what I brought up about Irwin Street. If we can look into possibly putting a street sign or something to curb speeding. There's a lot of kids over there. I've had a lot of complaints over the past couple months. If we could get something back from police department on that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, anything else under old business? Okay, seeing none. New business, we have open space and recreation appointments. I'd like to take these. Let's do the open space. Everybody have the list? No, do recreation first, then open space. Everybody has in front of them recreation appointments? Any questions on them? You want to do one at a time, or you want to vote them as a block? Okay, let's get a motion on council recreation appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on it? Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Yes.
Council President Marino?
Yes. Okay, then we have appointments on council open space appointments. I think we only need, what, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't that correct, Councilman Skirbo?
Yes,
We have 6 candidates.
yes, there's 5 openings, so I suggest, I guess we will have to do these in one by one.
Okay.
Council President?
Yes.
May I make a motion to bring up a candidate to be voted on?
Sure. I'm open to anything that's public.
I'd like to make a motion to vote on the candidacy of Mr. William Benz for the open space.
We have one.
Well, because
Okay, you want to
there's
start?
6.
typo. Yeah, it wasn't typed in.
Yeah, it wasn't typed in.
Okay, because I thought we had 6, but there's only room for 5, so that means naturally one person.
Well, no, they have me listed as the representative on top.
Got it, okay.
Clear on that?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
I
no,
rescind
don't be
that.
sorry. We want to be there.
He put a letter in.
Okay, let's take this, since there's 6 candidates, we only have 5, we'll take them one at a time. Okay, resident Stacy Evans for 1-year term.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call on that name, please.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus,
Yes.
Council President Marino,
Yes. Okay, resident Justin Henry, 2-year term. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus,
Yes.
Council President Marino,
Yes. Laura Flowers, 2-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus,
Yes.
Council President Marino,
Yes. Recreation Advisory Rep, Sue Piazza.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus,
Yes.
Council President Marino,
Yes. Okay, the alternate, Andre Manning.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Clark,
Yeah.
Councilman Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus,
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes, and that fills that open space, correct? Councilman Scarborough, that fills it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, moving on to motions. Elizabethtown gas waiver for 792 Mill Street and 955 Mill Street. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus,
Yes.
Council President Marino,
Yes. Grace Lutheran Church yard sale permit waiver.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Who seconded? I'm sorry?
I did.
Oh. Thought you were calling for a second.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Kennedy,
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo,
Yes.
Council Vice President Paulus,
Yes.
Council President Marino.
Yes. Public petitions?
Quick question to the council. Did you read the names of the appointments for the recreation board? Because the public never saw who they are.
For the rec board?
Yes,
Okay, give me 1 minute, please. I'll read them.
thank you.
John Turnbull, Tim Zagra, Danielle Finken, Ted Vay, that's a misprint, Justin Branch, Joan Pierce, Kelly Leffler, Jen Paulus, Chris Philippi, Shahid Barnes, Matthew Scarborough from the town, alternate Sue Piazza.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Ann Davis again. I have a question about OPA requests. Back on April 11th, which we'll say the 12th because it was at night, I submitted a very specific OPA request to get a response back that said, this request seeks information or asks questions and does not identify specific government records. As such, your request is invalid and is denied. I responded back that I thought it was specific, what I wanted, and we're here at April 24th and I still don't have a response. Is this going to be standard practice coming out of the municipal building? Because this is like the second or third time this has happened. I mean, I'll show the Oprah request. It's very specific what I asked. I couldn't be any more specific. So why, is it me, or is this just going to be standard practice?
Do you mind reading it?
Sure, I said I would like to request the following. What is the total paid to the staff that worked at the pool last summer? What was the date the pool opened last summer? What was the date the pool closed last summer? What were the daily times the pool was open? How many days a week was the pool open?
Those are invalid. They have to reference a existing piece of material. If that piece of material doesn't exist, then you can't fulfill the open request.
How can we not know how much we spent to staff the pool last year?
Well, we can, it's in the budget, but one document doesn't exist that just has that.
So then how do I get that information?
You can look up last year's.
Because an answer to that was not even offered,
Yeah,
just that it
through
was
open
denied.
request, you don't answer questions, you only provide.
Specific, you have to name a specific document. So if you wanted something regarding expenditures for a certain department, you probably would want to ask for the expenditures regarding the pool.
Okay, I did that in my reply back. I said I thought I was specific, and I'd like to know what the income and expense report for the 2023 season of the pool was.
Well, so again, you have to specify the document.
Well, how am I supposed to know what the document is?
Well, you got to do your research. You gotta
So
talk-
somebody, wait a second.
I understand what you're saying.
Can I ask Mr. Merlot for that
I'm
information?
a records custodian, so I know exactly what you're saying. You know, this is the problem with Oprah, okay? There's some legislation on the table now to limit Oprah. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Again, you know, we as records custodians, and I hope I'm not out of line speaking on this, am I?
You're assistant to the attorney.
So, we're not mind readers, and again, if you look at what is in the Oprah requirements, you're asking questions. Questions are not a valid Oprah. You have to specify the exact document you're looking for.
Okay, and I get that, but I didn't want a document that said Johnny Smith made $2,000 working as a lifeguard at the pool. That's not what I wanted. I wanted an overall figure. So if it's not through an Oprah, how am I as a resident, when there's no clear definition of any of this on the website to direct you where to go, how am I allowed to email Mr. Merlot and say, how much did we spend to run the pool last year?
That's not my decision.
But that's what I'm saying. As a
I can't-
resident, how are you, the website is not very navigable.
The website is horrendous. It's been horrendous for years.
It's actually in the budget document, the current budget document.
Of what we spent last year.
24, there's a column for 23. Yeah.
Okay. See, you gave me more information than anybody else did. Thank you, Mr. Merlot.
Joe again.
Is that your last name, Joe?
Minor.
No, I meant again.
Oh. Yeah. When I get hit with that, I go to the librarian. The librarians are marvelous people. We have librarians again. They'll carry you through doing that kind of question. I strongly took a different view than the attorney who spoke in description of the selection of this investigator, 4-H award planning group. I don't know who selected him, and it was, I don't know if it was within the rules, that he spoke in defense of this. Maybe somebody chose him. They did it in good faith, and I spoke from the contents of the document here that this was a bad investigation. I happen to have seen it differently than two of the council members. I saw it as prejudicial in a different direction. okay? But the presentation of that material by the attorney, I think should have been, I don't know, spoken by somebody else, not the attorney. Okay, I didn't like it. I said I didn't like it. That's good enough. And I forgot the other little nothing detail that I had to say. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else?
Matt Amabile again. Yeah, I just wanted to, I mean, on the taxes, I don't know exactly what this time is for, but this came to my head, so I figured I would say it. I have a building last year. I know we have the 11% coming up. I have a building. Taxes were $6,000 last year. They came. I renovated it. I've made it, you know, nice looking for the city. Those taxes went from $6,000 to $15,000, and yeah, so I pay right around $70,000 a year to the town, and I'm happy to do it. I'm well, 67.50 to the town across all my properties. And I'm happy to pay those taxes to the town. If that money's going towards things that you guys got to do what you got to do, but I'd love to see like our streets get cleaner. I know I've talked to you, Mr. Mayor, about getting that path like done on the backside. I know you guys are working on grants for that, and that would be amazing. But to see this area cleaned up, you know, I pick up trash every single day. I go on long walks and picking up stuff. So I'd love to see, you know, that money go towards this town getting cleaned up. And this is my first time at the town council meeting. It seems like, I don't know, some of the people at this table aren't all friends, and we don't have to be friends with everyone, but I think when there's a bit of an issue maybe between some people, you can't fully talk issues out and talk about them openly. And I love how the councilman president has been operating this tonight and being very open and, you know, putting his character on the line here. So that was just my 2 cents coming up here, and yeah, appreciate the work. I know what you guys do is hard, and yeah, I'm here for the town to grow, so appreciate you guys and hope we can do that together.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sandra Morissette, 5 Fairview Heights. It's been a wee while since I've been here, but it was a very worthwhile cause that brought me. You are receiving right now 174 signed letters from residents in Phillipsburg, addressed to each of you as council members, as well as the mayor. Each of the residents who signed these letters want you to know you have violated their trust in the town government of Phillipsburg. The trust was violated because the town government totally ignored the 2013 Master Plan re-examination report. In the wildest stretch of the imagination, the rezoning of the Perron Howard Street property from Riverside residential to industrial comes nowhere near the spirit nor the intent of that report. The master plan is your guide when you do your zoning in town. If you think about drastically deviating from the master plan, such has been done with the rezoning of the Perron Howard Street property to industrial, then there should have been a redo of the master plan beforehand, or minimally a new re-examination of the master plan with public participation. This was not done prior to the rezoning of the Perron Howard Street property to industrial. When reading the 2013 Master Plan Re-examination report, there is future planning detailed in this report, specifically for the Howard Street area, along with the residential area from the abandoned Norfolk Southern Railway right-of-way up through South Main Street. The report also addresses the small strip of light industrial that exists where the section of town called Goat Town used to exist. I'm now going to pause this mini history lesson so my husband can take over. Thank you.
Thank you. David Morissette, 5 Fairview Heights, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. The master plan does not call for increasing industrial zoning in the area of the residential area of the flats. In fact, the master plan says that the area from South Main Street through Howard Street, following McKean Street, should be broken down into 3 districts: recreational heritage, recreational residential, and riverside commercial. The 2013 Master Plan Reexamination Report also says, quote, "The I-1 light industrial zone should be rezoned to encourage or accommodate uses that would complement the surrounding residential neighborhoods, new and old, and the Riverfront Heritage Trail System, and the overall riverfront revitalization effort." Most of the residents in Phillipsburg, at least all of the doors we knock on, do not want a warehouse in downtown Phillipsburg on the Perone Howard Street property. The residents want you to either rescind Ordinance 2022-30, the ordinance that rezones the Perone Howard Street property to industrial, and the residents want you to stop using taxpayers' money fighting a lawsuit to overturn Ordinance 2022-30, an ordinance that the residents of Phillipsburg do not want. There seem to be some questions on social media about the lawsuit to invalidate the Ordinance 2022-30. Let me be clear. My wife and I are proud to be the individuals who have signed the retainer for that lawsuit. Additionally, we are proud to fight for the people of Phillipsburg. We are also proud of the many people who have supported us, and also the organizations such as the Delaware Riverkeeper Organization, the New Jersey Highlands Coalition,
Excuse me, Dave, 3 minutes is up.
and the Phillipsburg Riverview Organization, and the citizens of the Sustainable Development.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none. Let's move on to council open time. Councilman Clark.
Yes, thank you. My first announcement, I'd like to share out information. With the passing of Reverend Bill Slack, there will be a memorial service being held Saturday, April 27th at 1 p.m. at the River of Life Church, located at 445 South Main Street. It was made public on Facebook, and I wanted to share that for anyone that wanted to go and to pay their respects, or their final respects. In the same vein, I also wanted to offer my condolences to Congressman Donald Payne Jr.'s family. As many folks know, he just recently passed away today. He was a congressman from New Jersey that represented our state's 10th congressional district. Though not directly our representative, I felt it was appropriate to still offer my condolences for the record. He did a lot of great work down in Washington, D.C. I had the opportunity to meet him once, and he was just a magnificent person. So he passed at the age of 65 after a cardiac arrest episode. Next, Firthview Center, they have their 70th, my tongue is dry at this point, 70th anniversary celebration. There we go. Being held Thursday, May 2nd at 5:30 p.m. until 7 p.m. They're giving tours of the facility. I would highly recommend, as many people know, that the Firthview Center is a pillar of our community and a source of recreation for children. So please feel free to visit, bring children there, get them more exposed to recreation in our town, and make it more of a valuable resource, or a well-known resource. And then Warren County NAACP Annual Scholarship Gala, I just wanted to report back on this. So both Councilman Kennedy and myself attended Saturday evening, last Saturday evening, $20,000 worth of college scholarships were awarded that evening to high school students, and some actually in college at the moment. I wanted to congratulate three Phillipsburg high school students that were actually honored and received awards in the amount of $2,500, $3,000, and $3,000. So congratulations, Leah, Margaret, and Brittany, Phillipsburg Zone. Thank you, and we are so proud of what they've achieved. That's really all I have to report out, but I do just want to share one thing. I take this warehouse very seriously. I voted against ordinance 2022-30. I believe this was the ordinance that we faced last year. So I just wanted to put that on the record. So where I do appreciate this large notes, I would very much appreciate to speak with the people in person if they have any questions or comments or concerns that I would love to hear. So thank you.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes, I want to mention Pastor Slack also. I got to know Pastor Slack when he was the president of the Phillipsburg Downtown Association. Excuse me. And I got to know him even better when I was volunteering at the food pantry at the River of Life Church. I had great discussions with him and joked with him. I don't think there was a more giving person to be found anywhere. When I was going through my cancer ordeal last year, I got constant emails from him asking about my well-being and how I was doing when he had his own health issues that he was facing. And that's just the kind of person he was, and I'm going to miss him. Other than that, this past Saturday we had the Community Day of Action sponsored by Northwest Cap, where we cleaned up the downtown area. We had, I don't know exactly how many people, quite a few that volunteered to clean up down there, and it was a worthwhile event. And I also want to thank Alex Ibarra, who's over here, for his organization cleaning up Delaware River Park and the skate park in general. And everything looks much better down there. And on Sunday, we had the Earth Day, combined Earth Day Festival and the opening of the Phillipsburg Farmers Market. And I have to say, it was very well attended, a lot of vendors. As a matter of fact, we broke the record for attendance. We had officially 497 visitors to the Phillipsburg Farmers Market for the opening day. So from now until late October, when we're outside, I invite everyone to attend. It's every Sunday from 10 to 2, and it's a great gathering place for everyone. Thank you.
Here's to breaking 500.
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes, I would like to extend my condolences to the Slack family and all of his friends and all the people that he's touched in this town. It's going to be a sad loss for our community. Also want to continue prayers for a youngster in town. His name is Jackson. He needs all the prayers he can get at this moment. To whatever affiliation you pray to, please put out there some prayers for this young boy. He's fighting a battle that is a very tough battle right now, and we're working on trying to get him to Disney World. So let's try to do that as a community. If you can donate, whether it's $2, $5 to that cause, let's try to do that and make this kid's wish come true. It's important. Their family has lived their lifelong residence here. It's important to support people, especially children in need of these situations that's going on. And I just wanted to touch base with everyone and say I did ride around with Matt Knoll today to look at the Green Street property where the playground and the field is. As you know, there's old tennis courts that look like an eyesore, and we're looking into, now that we have the rec advisory and open space committees voted on tonight by council, we could look forward with these committees and with administration what areas we can improve with the open space money that we have here in town that the community has contributed through the tax over the years. So those are positive things. We're also looking at a park, pocket park for toddlers in the Hillcrest area. I know that there's been a lot of comments from that area of town. They don't have anything for their children there. There's a lot of younger children in that area. You know, we do have beautiful parks over here but it would be nice for them to have something walking distance of their homes when everyone else sort of has parks designated in their areas as well. So these are positive things. Looking forward, I think we all up here are looking forward to as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Vice President.
Yeah, my condolences to the Slack family and friends as well. It's very sad when you lose someone from your community. And thank you, Councilman Skirbo, for mentioning Jackson. It's, you know, so important for this little boy to get something of joy for as long as he can. So yeah, if you can donate, greatly appreciate it. And this Saturday, the Sandbar, in collaboration with 3rd and Ferry Street, is having the Whiskey Jam with the, well, it's Dueling Rivers Whiskey Jam from 12 to 6. So if you can attend, I think, you know, the weather's supposed to be nice. Get out there, you know, see all the vendors that they're going to have over on Larry Holmes Drive. There's going to be food and several different bands. Yeah, bluegrass for once. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the audience tonight. I expected a little bit more rowdyism, so I really appreciate that you acted like adults. And, you know, it's good. It's good that you can have a conversation, you can hear both sides, and, you know, you act like an adult. Don't act like kids. We've got a lot of kids that we can hear. My condolences to the pastor's family as well. And Councilman Skirbo, I'm glad you're finally getting something over there in the Hillcrest area for those little kids. There are a lot of young families over there, and it's about time the town starts moving there. Also, I might like to make this suggestion. Mercer Street and South Main Street Park, when you do your open space and recreation, a lot of little kids here try to put up a fence. The other location, North Main Street, I can get that cleaned up. We have a lot of little kids down there. The third one, see if you can get some cameras, whatever, up at Delaware River Park. And if we can get cameras at every park, would be okay. And with that, I wish everybody a safe trip home. And that's it for us. Do we have executive session?
And we do have a need.
Hold it. Mayor, you want to talk to?
No, executive session.
That's what he was asking.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
he was asking.
we do have need
We're not
for,
out of here yet.
we do have need for a brief executive session regarding contractual matters. It won't take more than 5 minutes, probably.
Is that added on to the last one you were mentioning?
Yes, that's mine. So we're under the radar in terms of time. So that's the motion.
Motion to do an executive.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Clark?
Oh, yes.
Councilman Kennedy?
Yes.
Councilman Skirbo?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hall?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes.